So design thinking is actually all about liberation. Liberation from the mundane processes which have been invented years back in a different environment for different set of consumers. And now the things have really drastically changed over the last decade. With 2.5 billion kind of smartphones, and the world is connected. The generations are changing much faster. I don't know whether you are aware, but there is a new generation called Generation U, the children born after 2009-10. These kids basically learn everything from YouTube. They don't learn nursery rhymes as they used to from their mothers. They learn their numbers. They learn their everything from Now imagine when they grow and become 15-year-old, and they go to a bank and banks puts a 10-page form to sign. You think they are going to open a bank account? They'll simply run away. And the story goes on and on almost in every sector. What has happened essentially is that the consumer is connected, they're talking to each other, they're learning it from each other. So the olden days when you designed a product sitting from air-conditioned offices and thinking that what customer ought to have, in all your wisdom, you almost dictated what customers had to have, and then use some clever advertising to promote the product, and sometimes it hits the bullseye and you're happy with it. But the idea was essentially more of a push strategy, pushing your product in the market. Now imagine when the consumer base has changed, they are aware, they don't trust you anymore. They will rather trust another user who has used your product before and go by that. Now with that kind of influence and power of the user, things are not going to be the same, and designing of the product is not going to work sitting in your air-conditioned offices. So the way it will work is that, yes, you can create hypothetication, you can believe that this is what might work, but it is merely hypothesis. The hypothesis need to be verified because every hypothesis is attached with a risk. So you create generally a set of hypotheses and the set of associated risks. Then you go and verify them in the market by the people who are actually going to use your product, by not just interviewing them, again in a dipstick kind of environment, but deep diving into their lives, really understanding, how do they use the product, when do they use the product, is there really a need, do they aspire for it, is there a dream they think about, and that is the kind of product that hit the market. And so much so that even if your company is doing well, your customers seemingly look happy with your product. And what may shock you is that in 3 years' time, the company may not be there. And that's because we continuously focus on the needs of the customer and not on the aspirations, on the dreams of the customer. We have in front of us so many failures of some utterly successful companies, and suddenly they were not there. And it was basically the disconnect between what the consumers aspired for and what we were offering. So design thinking is an insurance, or assurance for succeeding in the market. And there's no option. I think we all, with the power of users that they have today, it is a mandatory process that everyone adopts now design thinking, or else you accept the failure probability, which will be far higher than your success. So I highly recommend that accept this design thinking philosophy, start understanding the needs of the consumer, start understanding the wants of the consumer, start understanding the dream of the consumer, and then design products by understanding exactly what they are looking for. This is what design thinking is all about.